Humanity was the latest race the Federation scouting team found. At first, their race seemed primitive. Their construction was generic and focused on efficiency. Their lives were stressful and overworking. They were like every other race in their earlier industrial times. We thought nothing of their culture. Their planet held a mere 7 billion, enough to be considered lightly scattered through a planet of its size. Its conditions were terrible, and it fought them at every step. The representatives voted to go on a liberation mission to boost their approval ratings. Everyone loved a good idealistic giving of freedom. And the slavery that always followed basically ran our economy. The race was at such an insignificant size that losses would be next to none, other than maybe a diplomat or two on the ground being taken by their military. When we arrived, we found the major industrial centers and destroyed them. Nobody defended. We found the capitals, and we razed them. Nobody defended. With little left to do orbitally, we deployed ground teams to begin our liberation. It was at this point that our intel had failed us. Humanity loved their freedom, and they disagreed with our definitions of it. Every human we took cost us countless lives. Attempting to control the population was impossible. Our men were used to warfare on designated battlegrounds, where pure show of military might would decide the victor. Humanity was not. Our men were ripped apart by their weapons from distances unimaginable. We'd assumed these rounds were aimed by machines. Until we stumbled across one of these sniper nests while one slept. Somehow their bodies possessed a capability for accuracy beyond our comprehension. In America, the citizens would fire every weapon they could at us. In Europe, they escaped via the complexity layouts and underground tunnels. In Asia, hordes of humans attacked from seemingly nowhere, overwhelming our men instantly. In one area known as the Middle East, explosives were placed where we would never have imagined, destroying our men without anyone's effort required. Humanity specialized in killing us before we even knew they existed. Before we had even taken 10 million of their citizens captive, humanity had killed triple that of themselves and tenfold that of ours. The representatives didn't like it. Losing wars was not good for approval ratings. An order was given to glass the planet. Nothing would be left, and the universe would be cleansed of these savages in our healing light. It was at this point that we learned the extent of our mistakes. Our battleships took their positions. The weapons were charged, and the order was confirmed. They attempted to fire, and nothing happened. It was assumed to be a targeting difficulty, but it was unheard of for so many ships to have a similar failure at the same time. It was humanity. While we had thought the 10 million citizens captives, they had thought themselves resistance. Their engineers learned how our ships worked and castrated them long before we thought to use them. Their scientists had learned our technology and had copied the designs. Their military learned our weaponry, and at the same time it disabled it. But by far, their greatest achievement was that their martyrs tasted victory before any of us ever had. Their resistance had set up the overwhelming energy of our weapons to be discharged into our shields rather than towards their planet. While we sat confused, humanity launched a weapon they had managed to keep hidden the entire time. Their nuclear devices tore through our ships, unleashing blasts we had never thought possible by projectile weapons. 10 million of their resistance died by choice, stopping our forces. A ripple began. Citizens cried out against our attacks on humanity. Before long, planets across the Federation and entire races began rebellions. A dozen different civil wars began before the year was up. Humanity was just getting started. Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video.